sausages or pancakes or whatever. So if you understand how to
I remember
through-
talking to you when they didn't want to finance my property there because they said I've got too many units in one of the properties. Remember that?
Yes, concentration risk. Yeah, look at so. I think as soon as you and as long as you understand the basic rules, it's all the same. I watched a program with Ronaldo, the soccer player.
Yeah.
And he said he thinks he's a great soccer player because he understands how to work the rules.
Right.
Once you understand that,
100%.
work it. Then you work around it. Many people don't want to learn the rules, don't feel the rules are right. It's not your rules, it's someone else's rules.
How does the universal loan work?
The universal loan.
Yeah.
Sure. I haven't heard that for a long time. A universal loan, that's effectively when you have one loan. So a home loan.
So let's say you've got 5 home loans now.
So a home loan is one loan, one property.
Yes.
Okay. Universal can be one, now they call it a facility loan.
Now they call it a facility.
With 5 properties or more.
Yes. And what's the qualification criteria to be approved for a universal loan? I'm plugging these.
Credit score, affordability, and value.
Credit score, affordability, and value. And then do they wait for you to accumulate the number of properties first? Or can you outright find 5 properties as long as you've got affordability and say, I'm doing a universal loan for all 5 simultaneously?
Yes.
There's always been an argument online, People will say witness is lying about being able to finance multiple properties at the same time. And I realized how much people don't know about what's available out there. And I'm glad I'm sitting with you because now I'm able to ask that when it comes to, because I know obviously you can finance 2 simultaneously if you've got affordability. They don't have to have a universal loan. No. They can have 2 different home loans. But say, for instance, you've identified 5 in 5 different areas. And you're like, I don't want to have the hassle of registering too many bonds, for example. Obviously you will. But the hassle of paying 5 I want to have 1 bond.
Yeah.
And I want to buy all of them at the same time.
Then, ABSA have the universal loan. RMB, Investec.
ABSA must pay me. I'm plugging them.
Now it's a private banks because you're kind of in that space there, right?
Yes.
They all have what they call a structured lending facility. That's effectively what it is. That's a name they give it. So a lot of the banks offer that. They offer it in different ways. ABSA's one is a lot more flexible than.
Hey, you're still loyal, eh? You're still loyal.
I used to look after that, so I didn't develop it, but I definitely improved it.
You worked in that team.
I used to look after. I looked after buy to let. I looked after international mortgages, private banking, finance.
How did you come up with future rental income facility?
I was having a conversation. I was frustrated because I couldn't finance a property that I wanted to finance because my affordability wasn't there. It's probably the time when I just bought my property. and I was just...
Let's correct it. It's probably the time you bought your wife a property.
Exactly, right? And I didn't have my own affordability. And I was speaking to someone who had properties in the UK, in London. And
Andrew?
It was someone else.
Okay.
And he was talking, he was going on about that you can buy a property, you can finance a property with the rental that they're going to earn on the property, so future rental income. And I came back to the office and I went to our credit committee and I said, why can't we do this? No, we can't. I'm sitting on National Credit Act. I said, let's go understand this. Now, remember earlier on I was talking to you about how I look at problems. I look at problems from this perspective, and then I turn it upside down, and I try to ask questions.
Oh, the cutting of the orange.
Yeah, the orange. If you cut it one way, it looks like this. You cut it the other way, it looks the same orange, different cuts, right?
Yeah.
And I just applied my mind. I looked at it, and then I saw that. So the National Credit Act requires that the property can be paid, that you can afford the property. It doesn't say you can afford the property today. Your affordability is today. It just says that you can afford it, that I forget what the wording is quite some time back, but that the affordability is certain. I said, but if we know that in the area, a 1-bedroom apartment, gets 7,000 a month, how certain do we need to be to apply it? And so I just started asking the questions. And I also took the approach of don't take the easy answer, push it. Sometimes push the questions until you really irritate someone they tell you to bugger off, or until you are able to find a solution or find an alternative solution or a variation of it. So that's how we got to it. But I still remember being I was at a SAPIN event, and up front, a South African Property Investors Network event. And I was talking about future rental income. And in the crowd, in the front row, someone says to me, it's illegal.
Future rental income.
It's illegal. You can't do it. It was a guy from Standard Bank.
Your competitor.
And he's literally like, but by the time ABSA does something, believe me, they've scrutinized the heck out of it.
And everybody's playing catch up.
And I remember this was another bank.
Your blood is red.
and there was another bank. And I think, what told me at the time is that it really validated that, we'd been seriously innovative. I mean, I might have had the idea, but it was a team that pulled this together. But we really were pushing the boundaries. When people start telling you that you're wrong, and they're almost like emotional about it, it's either because you've gone beyond where other people think is possible, right. And that's what this guy was telling me, is that it's impossible. Now, I did not go sit down and tell him exactly how we did it, because he's the competitor, and I wanted him to keep on thinking that it was wrong, and he probably spent the next year trying to figure it out. There is a bank that's come out with it now. It's Nedbank has actually come out with it in the last 2 or 3 months. Future rental income.
Only in the last 2 or 3 months.
and this is the amazing thing. And again, I'm out of the system for a while now. It wasn't used a lot. Because what they found, I think when people applied, they used it. But actually, when it went through the credit process, the credits realized that they didn't need to use it. And actually very, 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 very few loans actually use future rental income. But the lesson is this: because we were innovative about that product and that offering, we were considered to be kind of leading the market in innovation, even though it was very few people using it. As well as